It is a vastly changing world, and you can fight the change all you want to, but change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And you can grow as a person and as a communicator to be able to communicate to this diverse, audience. And technology has leveled the playing field so much. The TV preachers of another age, now you can go on so many different platforms and you can watch preachers across this country.
Hey there, welcome to Pastors Unplugged. We also lovingly call it 2PU. This guy that's on today I've known for years, and I don't have the words to describe him. He is amazing, and that doesn't seem to be enough. That's not an adequate word to describe him. He has touched so many lives, and probably yours, definitely mine. Dr. Ike Reighard with us, of course, the lead pastor of Piedmont Church and president and CEO at Must. Ike, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Rick. It's so good to be with you today. Thanks for the opportunity.
Now, you're watching him, if you are watching him, and I made mention of this before we started recording, Ike looks younger. He's always been a young-looking man, but he looks so much younger, and I just seem to get older. But, that's my problem. Hey, Ike, the other day, somebody sent me the show, and it was someone not in Atlanta. In fact, it was in Nevada, I think. And they sent me the show we did from your dining room 10 years ago when you had the heart attack. Wasn't it 10 years ago?
It sure was. It was about that time frame. Absolutely. And when you have a guest book, you're going to make sure they're on no matter what. Just drag him out, pound on his chest if that's what we got to do. But we're going to get the show done. So absolutely, I remember.
We had such a good time. That was on FaithTalk Live, and Dan Ratcliffe was the co-host. And I think we're still returning silverware that Dan stole from Robin. I apologize again.
Well, it was just good that we had security at the house that day, and they did check Rob's trunk and the little cases that you said you were bringing in equipment. We noticed there was no equipment, but it was sure heavy as you were leaving the house, and so we appreciate it.
I watched that again, Ike, and I just laughed and laughed. We had such a good time, and I'm so glad that you're still here, and I know that you are, and Robin as well. But we did have a great time. Ike, if you don't know, is the lead pastor of Piedmont Church. He's an author, speaker, and he's also president and CEO of Must. And just so much to talk about with Ike. We're going to have Ike back. I think what we should do, Ezra is my producer, we should camp out at the Must office and then just do the show, just do the 2PU there, do a few more. I think that would be really, really cool. Ike, just a couple of things. I noticed that I was reading, and I don't even know where I found this, maybe on the website of Piedmont, maybe Must, but it talked about your favorite movie and your favorite music. And I just love that. Your favorite movie is actually my favorite movie as well. It's A Wonderful Life. What's Robin's? Is it the same or is it totally different?
Well, Robin loves It's a Wonderful Life. We both love old movies. That's just kind of the thing that we enjoy together, is being able to sit back and to be able to watch something that just teaches values and is something in great cinema to be able to watch. But It's a Wonderful Life for us has just always been one of our very favorite movies, if not our favorite. I know it has a dark side to it, but I love how people come together and they take care of George Bailey. And back behind me, you can't see it, but there's a big plaque. And Robin got me one year for Christmas, and it just says, "It is a wonderful life."
I love that. It's a classic movie, and it is one of my favorite scenes, and then we'll move on here. And I don't know why it makes me chuckle. I've seen the movie, I don't know, maybe 100 times. I don't know. But when she prepares the house and he comes in and he's shocked, it's raining and it's cold, and he looks under the bed and sees both pairs of shoes, and he does a double take. every time I see that scene, and I know it's coming, I laugh out loud. And my wife, Donna, she says, "You've seen that scene. I don't know how many times." And I said, "It's just funny. It's just a classic movie. Makes me feel good. It's a story of redemption, isn't it?"
It really is. And the way the community comes together to take a good person, to be able to bring them out of the depths of depression and to be able to encourage them. Now, my favorite scene, of course, is at the end when Zuzu, when she has her little flower petals, and every time a bell rings, an angel gets its wings.
Yes.
And someone heard me talk about how much I love the movie, and they sent me this envelope one day in the mail, and inside was an autographed picture of the little girl who played Zuzu in the movie. So I actually have a little piece of memorabilia from that movie.
Wow. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she didn't give me the flower petals, though. We could have made some money off those things. Forget the prayer cloth. We've got Zuzu's flower petals. Man, we would have made mint, buddy, I'm telling you.
Dr. Ike Reighard on with us, two Pastors Unplugged. And Ike, what do you do? Now, I know a little bit about what you do to get unplugged. You spend time with Robin, and you like to go out to breakfast with Abigail and the family when you can, and you listen to music. What is a unplugged day for Dr. Ike Reighard?
Man, an unplugged day for us would be able to get up and to go do a little shopping. I'm the female in our relationship. I love shopping. And to be able to go to some neat shops, to be able to look around and then go maybe grab a great, Mexican meal, either at a place called Rosa's over in Virginia Highlands. I'll plug that one. And Nuevo Laredo down off of Chattahoochee at Marietta Boulevard. That's my old neighborhood where I grew up. So I always enjoy going back there and maybe going and catching a movie at Studio Movie O Grill. We love to be able to do things like that. So that's an unplugged day for us. But if I had an unplugged week, I would want to go to Maui. Our favorite place on earth is Maui. And if I'm going to unplug but really be stimulated, then I want to go to Israel for a week, because those two places are our favorite places.
Now, do you find, and I know you have been a reader forever, and I know we've talked about Zig Ziglar, we've talked about Rick Warren, so many great books, authors that you have read and you respect. On an unplugged day, would you read anything? Would you take a break, or is there something that you'd pick up that you maybe normally wouldn't have the time to read?
Yeah, I read all the time, and I bookmark a lot for articles to go back and to read. The reason I do that is I've never had an original thought in my life. So, I've got to find something now. See, now I've got. I'll plug Louis Giglio. Because this is his new devotional that he's put out called Grace and Glory. And I got that for all of our staff at Piedmont Church so that we could go through. It's 365 devotions for a life transformed by Jesus. And so I start my day with devotional things, whether I'm plugged or I'm unplugged. I love to be able to do that. If I'm going to do something where it sounds strange, an intense unplugged time, I go back to where I'm from in the mountains of North Carolina, a place called the Nantahala Gorge. And my sister still has our little tiny, tiny house that we were born in. The rest of the family was born there. And I just go sit on that front porch, or I'll go trout fish and just enjoy that beauty. There's something majestic about mountains. There's something timeless about them. And there's times that I just need to fast and pray when I'm really just trying to get a word from the Lord. That's the place that I go to that I'm so thankful for. And a lot of my family are still there in the mountains of Western North Carolina.
Hey, we hear that you're loving Two Pastors Unplugged, so we want to remind you to hit the subscribe button right there on the bottom and give this video a thumbs up. And if you're an audio only, we love you. Thank you for listening to us. And you can subscribe wherever you get your podcast, Apple, Spotify, wherever. And there's a new episode that drops every Tuesday morning, so look out for that. And hey, thanks for listening. Now, back to the show. Love that. Dr. Ike Reighard with us on Two Pastors Unplugged. Ike, you've been in the ministry a long, long time. I know you started out, and we've had this conversation before. You were on the radio. You were a disc jockey. You probably played vinyl, if I remember right, back in the day. But you still have that gift, and God's blessed you with, and you've pastored so many amazing churches. You're at Piedmont. You're a part of Must. As we look here at 2025, we get to talk here to pastors, mega church pastors, and pastors that have small congregations. Like we talked to the pastor in Brooks, Georgia, and I know you know where Brooks is. And
I sure do.
It is a cute little, quaint little. He's a great leader of a church. And so we talked to those guys, but you've been around and you've imparted to so many lives. The pastor today, 2025, think about when you started. How different is pastoring today? I'm not talking about technology, but as the leader, as the pastor. Talk about the differences maybe back then and now. Maybe challenges, solutions, adjustments, maybe shifting?
Well, there's an unbelievable amount of change that's taken place in the world in the time that I started out in pastoring. If you were going to build a church, you would go out and you would have Tuesday night visitation. And you just show up and knock on people's doors to do that. Today, that's called a home invasion. So you're not going to be welcome to just go up and start knocking on people's doors. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to go visit. It's a totally different world. It's a much more divisive world. It's a much more high-speed world. The information age has changed everything. The amount of information that you can get, whether it's accurate information or not, is kind of staggering today. And for every pastor that stands up on Sunday, they know that now their congregation can go and watch any numbers of really great pastors who have, a TV ministry. But everybody virtually has a TV ministry with the live streaming and with all the other platforms that you've got to be able to get the message out. And so it's a much more savvy group of people that are listening with a much more diverse points of view. And used to, you could have stood up and just simply said, the Bible says, but today, that doesn't mean a lot to an audience that didn't grow up knowing and understanding the Bible.
Yeah.
And so having to make sure that people understand why you believe the Word of God, why you believe that it can transform lives, is hugely important. So it is a vastly changing world. And, you can fight the change all you want to, but change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And you can grow as a person and as a communicator to be able to communicate to this diverse, audience. And technology has leveled the playing field so much. The TV preachers of another age, now you can go on so many different platforms and you can watch preachers across this country.
Now, that was gold there that you just mentioned. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional. And that probably is one of the most difficult things for pastors, whether they're just starting out, or they've been doing it a while. The in the head, why do I need to change? It's the Bible. Why do I need to grow? I mean, what's the deal? Right?
Well, always be married to your mission, but date the model of how you do ministry. Again, there was a time you went to church on Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday night visitation, Wednesday night church. We churched you to death. The good thing was, if you died, there was a good chance you'd drop dead in church because we were going to run you to death, right? And so, things have changed. There have been so many things. I had a sociology minor when I was in college. And I remember hearing a professor tell us that one of the things that changed America the most, and really the world, was air conditioning. And when he first said it, I went, what in the world does that mean? And then he explained, he said there was a time that people used to sit on their porches. And when they sat on their porches, they would converse with their neighbors on one side and the other. They would converse with the neighbors across the street. But when air conditioning came along, you no longer had to go outside to cool down. You could stay inside. And he said, that changed life. That bit of technology did. Television then came along. It changed life. The iPhone, I don't think anything has changed life more than a mobile device. Now, I plug iPhones, but it's changed things. You go to a restaurant and you see people sitting across from each other, and I think they're actually texting each other across the table rather than actually just talking to each other, which thrills AT&T, Verizon, and all those people to death, I'm sure. But, it's a challenge. And being able to lock in and to have good communication, to me, is absolutely essential. And so when I teach leadership, and Rick, I love that particular topic, I always talk about the greatest leadership lesson I ever learned. I learned when I was in the 6th grade. I was a school patrol person at Goldsmith Elementary at the corner of Marietta Boulevard and Marietta Street in downtown Atlanta. And we had a motto as a school safety patrol. And I'm doing this because I wore a white sash as a school safety patrol officer. And our motto, and I asked a group one time, I said, do you remember what the motto was of the safety patrol? And someone yelled out, stop, drop, and roll. Dude, that's if you're on fire. It has nothing to do with the school safety patrol motto. The motto for school safety patrol was stop, look, and listen. And I've been blessed. John Maxwell is a great friend of mine. Zig Ziglar was my mentor. But the greatest leadership lesson I've ever learned was that motto. Learn to stop what you're doing. Learn to look at the people that you're talking to, and then listen with your whole body, which means you got to put down that phone. You got to focus on the people that are right there in front of you.
I was going to ask you, you've kind of answered the question. If you could go back in 30 years and talk to the younger Ike Reighard, what advice would you give him? I'm sure there's some things, but that right there is gold, isn't it?
Well, absolutely. I mean, relationships are the key to life. It's the key to having a life that's flourishing. I just got back 2 weeks ago. I was at Harvard University. I just wanted to be able to drop that, just so you know. Obviously not as a student, but I went there because they released this massive study called Human Flourishing by Harvard. And it was pretty remarkable to hear Christians, strong Christian professors at Harvard University talking about what made for a thriving and flourishing life. It was a 6-year study. It had 40 researchers. They interviewed over 200,000 people in 22 countries. And they talked about what is human flourishing? How can you do that in your life? So it's a really cool study. And, you can Google it and pull it up, and it's great. And they also had kind of a sidebar study to that on what is a flourishing church. They have like 15 attributes of a church that's flourishing, 6 different things that'll help you thrive as a human being. It would really be worth a pastor's time and effort to look at that. It was kind of co-sponsored by Harvard University, Baylor University, and Barna Research.
Dr. Ike Reighard with us, two Pastors Unplugged, the lead pastor at Piedmont, and a lot of great things going on there. Ike, are you doing a podcast at all? That's probably I shouldn't even ask that. I'm assuming you do.
No, I did one for a period of time for several years called Insights with Ike. And I did that, but just with the level of some of the other things I was involved in, I've kind of dropped off of doing that. Maybe something I pick back up at some point. Because that it is a great communication tool. I love to listen to podcasts.
What's here? And I noticed we're over time. I would love to have you back. And I'm serious. I'll show up at Must, and
I love that.
you may arrest me. I may get arrested later by security, but at least I would be there just to have more time with you. Real quick, what's next for you? What's going on? Are you working on a book, or what's going on?
I am working on a book, and I'm working on some other things. I'm at a stage in my life where I'd love to be able to coach some people and to be able to mentor some people. I've done that informally all down through the years. Business people. I have 3 CEOs that I go very deep with them and their families, work within their companies to be able to help them to build culture pieces. And so I'm doing a lot of work there, and just some great people that I'm blessed to be able to be around. And then, of course, all the things going on here at Must. We've just completed a $27.5 million project that we started, and then COVID happened in the middle of it, and we kept doing the project. And we're finishing it completely debt-free, which is
wow
for me to be able to say. So $27.5 million. And Must is continuing to serve nearly 70,000 people a year that are in poverty. So those are the things that I'm involved in. And of course, at Piedmont Church, love the people there. We serve a lot in the community. And Rick, something that we've been doing is putting in sensory perception rooms in schools for children with autism. Something
wow.
Like 1 in 30 children now have autism. It's cost us about $3,000 a room. And we just cut the ribbon on the 45th room that we put in schools in Marietta City, Cobb, and Cherokee County. So getting to do a lot of great things in a lot of great places because I got great people that surround me.
Love that. Ike, thanks for doing that. I have a special needs son, and it just means the world. But you guys, you and your team have always been just kind of had foresight and listening to the needs, and not just listening, but putting into place the systems that need to take care of people, whether it's the hungry people. I know that, and this real quick, and I know we're out of time, but in the summertime is a hard time for children in all those counties that Must takes care of. They need lunches because most of them are not getting food at home. The only food they get is at school. When school is out, then they lack food, and that's where Must comes in. So if folks, you can get on the Must website, and you can be a part of that, whether you're giving financial or just showing up and helping do something. Just do that, will you? Because summer is next month, I think.
It is, and Rick, we'll be taking care of 8,000 students a week. We'll do over 500,000 meals this year for kids during that 9 weeks.
God bless you guys. Ike, I got to go. I want to talk to you again. Love you with my entire, and looking forward to talking to you again. I love you. I consider you a legend, but and I know you wouldn't say that for yourself, but I'm going to say it, and I do love you and appreciate you. Thank you for your time. 2 Pastors Unplugged, Ike Reighard. Check out mustministries.org. Also, you can go to the Piedmont Church. It's piedmontchurch.tv, and stop by. Also, the church. They're doing amazing things. Always have, always will continue to do that. Hey, I got to go. Another pastor coming up next week on 2 Pastors Unplugged. Until then, I'm Rick Probst. See ya. That's a wrap of this episode of 2 Pastors Unplugged. But hey, don't stop here. You can click the next video and the next one and the next one. And if you haven't already subscribed to the channel and to the podcast, just search 2 Pastors Unplugged on your favorite app. And we want to connect with you during the week. So go to @FaithTalk Atlanta, and we are everywhere across the board. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.